הישן ביום, אפילו ישן שנת קבע על מיטתו כמה שעות כשהכל משנתו ייטול ידיו בלי ברכה. So let's say you're asleep. I'll give you a little update before that. We did a couple of halachot that's connected to this. מי שישן בתחילת הלילה. So let's say you were sleeping on your bed in the beginning of the night, before midnight. Half an hour. You got up. Some mikubalim say you have to wash your hands with a netilat yadayim kab without a bracha. Without a bracha. Even though Maran Ben Yosef says, Shulchan Aruch says, and Ben Ishchai says that you should wash with a bracha. Now this is assuming if you're not gonna go back to sleep. Assuming you're not gonna go back to sleep. You're sleeping on a set place, and once you wake up, you have to make a bracha. Okay, that was one case we brought down.
Only in your back. Because that's how I start sleeping, on my back. But I don't wake up. I just turn around the other side and go.
Right.
Right? Like on my back.
No, if you're sleeping on the bed, on your bed for half an hour before midnight. So let's see the details. So some say to make bracha, some say not to break. Let's see. כתב מקובל רבינו רפאל אברהם שרבי בספרות דברי שלום. צריך לבאר הישן קודם חצות ולא עבר עליו חצות. אין רוח רע שורה בו. והוא ממה שכתב בזוהר הקדוש. So he wants to learn the Zohar like this. That the first part of the night, if a person sleeps on the first half of the night, the bad spirit does not rest on him. And he picked it up from the words of the Zohar, because Zohar says, David HaMelech, Ikreu dechol yoma lo ta'am ta'am mita. He didn't taste the taste of death. Because he used to sleep very limited, like a horse, the horse breaths. So he wants to explain, this Mikubal Rafael Avraham Sharabi wants to explain that whatever the horse breath is talking about, the 60 horse breath, is really 6 hours, the first 6 hours of the night. So he wouldn't sleep past midnight. Would not sleep past midnight. And he never tasted the taste of death, because he's always, the taste of death you taste when you pass midnight. That's what comes out over here. That's why it says David Melech Israel Chai Chai Vekayam. Why you say Chai? Because he never got to, the Zohar says he never got to a point where he slept the time where the neshama is already from the time of the midnight, where the bad spirit is able to get on the person. Right. So it comes out from here that it wouldn't go on a person that would never sleep at midnight. If you always pass midnight and you're not sleeping and you're learning Torah, the bad spirit is not resting on your hand.
After midnight.
Right, meaning if you passed midnight.
12 p.m.
12 p.m. Not 12 p.m. It varies on the different times. That varies on the times. There's different times.
Which time?
When the days are longer, you have to divide the day in half, or the night in half. So if you're gonna, for example, in the winter time, the nights are longer, right, and the days are shorter. So you have to make it equally. Right now, Chatzot is gonna be, exactly. So that's what he says. So now it comes out like this. So that's why a person that sleeps till midnight is considered alive. The live meaning is not tasting the death, because the taste of the death comes when he passes the midnight.
So if you don't learn, you're wasting time.
That's also true, right?
If you don't sleep.
And if you up at midnight, but you're not learning, you're doing nonsense. So it's as if you're sleeping also.
You're wasting time.
Not wasting. It's as if you're sleeping.
Wasting. It's like bitul Torah.
That's also. I mean, depends what you're doing. Listen, you have to take care of kids or whatever.
No, watching television.
Oh, for sure.
Time.
That's
already
right.
doing it worse.
That could
But
be
if
other
you're working,
problem. If you're working, you're working. He's talking about ביטול Torah in general. אוקיי, ואין רוח מסעבה שולט בו, ואם כן משמע מכאן, דאין צריך נטילת ידיים. So it comes out from here. He was sleeping on his bed before midnight. He wakes up before midnight. Does he have to wash his hands for נטילת ידיים? Not really. Not really. מוכרחים אנו לומר דמה שאמר בזוהר שצריך נטילת ידיים הוא מדבר. And when the Zohar says you have to wash your hands נטילת ידיים, it's talking about if you passed midnight, then you have to say with the bracha. That's how they learn. וכן כתב רבן יעקב, שלנתי מסורו ימד יעקב. שאין שורה עליו רוח רע, ואין צריך נטילה. ודעת רבנו זלמן. All these opinions they bring. Oh, now, what does the Shulchan Aruch say? Maran Beit Yosef. Beit Yosef is the author of the Shulchan Aruch, right? So we go by him. So he says, from the Zohar, he learns it differently. How does Beit Yosef learn the Zohar? מלשון הזוהר הקדוש שהעתקנו לילה שכתב דלת לך מן דנאים בלילה עד כארסיה אלא טעם דמותה נפקד נשמתה מיניה וכיוון נשתרת גופה בלא נשמתה כדי שרוח מסביב זמין אפשרי עליהו עד כזה כתב בית יוסף באתר טעם שהשינה גורמת ואפילו ישן שלא על מיטתו. He says the fact that you're sleeping already the ruach ra comes. What causes the ruach ra? Is it the time that passes at midnight? Or it's the fact that he's sleeping on his... It doesn't matter if he's sleeping on the bed, even he's not sleeping. The fact that he's sleeping, the neshama comes out, and right away the bad spirit has access.
Because there's room to go on.
That's how Beit Yosef learns. ואפשר שישן ולא בלילה, כיוון שהנשמה מסתלקת מתחייב בנטילה. ואפשר שישן ולא בלילה, כיוון שמסתלק מחייב מטילה. So maybe even if it's not the night time, he's just sleeping any sleep, he's already obligated for netilat yadayim. We're going to see later, the Shulchan Aruch is going to say that if a person sleeps in the daytime on the bed, he wakes up, you don't, because there's a safek now. If neshama left, does the ruach ra come? Still, you should wash your hands, like for netilat yadayim, without a bracha.
What about Modeani?
Modeani, in the morning you say.
No. You're knocked out.
Okay.
You're just knocked out, really knocked out. An hour or
You
two.
could say Modeani anytime you want. There's no God's name there. So
Is it you have to? Because sometimes people go like,
it's good to say it. No, it's good to say it.
Okay.
So you see how Beit Yosef is learning? He's learning it differently. וכן כתב מהר"ם בן חביב שכל שישן שנת ארעי דהיינו שיטין נשמין נתחייב בנטילה. He is sleeping, even not a set sleep. What is not a set sleep? He's sleeping on the chair. He fell asleep on the chair. Or in the car. That's not the normal way to sleep. Normal way, on the bed.
The car, you don't drive it, right?
yes, sometimes you stop the car and sleep.
I'm saying,
That's
let's
what I
say,
do.
right. You want to, you're tired, whatever.
That's what I do. I
Bish
stop the
lama
car
ibe.
and sleep.
Yeah, I mean...
Then what should I have to do after that? Do I have to wash my hands?
So according to this, any sleep, according to Maran Ben Chavim, any sleep that past Shitin Nishmi is like a sleep, he is obligated to make Netilah. Without the bracha, obviously, because now we're going to see what's with the bracha. בהגאות רבי עקיבא עגל בשלום אם ישן אחר חצות לאחר שקרא ולמד ועשה תיקון. Now look at this. If a person sleeps after midnight, after he did the tikkun chatzot and he learned Torah, the ruach ra does not sit on him. That's what the Rashash says in his book Nar Shalom. The Rashash, they say, he explained the whole Torah of the Arizal. Whatever Arizal was not able to explain, the Rabbeinu Shalom Sharabi, he's the one that explains the Arizal. So according to him, if you did Tikkun Chatzot, midnight, you learn Torah, you don't have, if you go, even you go to sleep again, you don't have to already be afraid that the Ruach Ra, this Ruach Ra doesn't come back.
You have to do certain things.
Yeah. Tikkun Chatzot, or learn Torah. You learn Torah when you was up.
תיקון חצות שתקוע?
Tikkun Chatzot is the midnight ritual that we cry over the destruction of the Bet HaMikdash. Тилим читаем вот эти Ал Народ Бавель, там у нас в Сидурах, я не знаю на русских если есть, но там он приносит седер специально, то что надо делать. И это очень большой дает человеку силу духовную. Заряд.
There's a Russian version of that, like here. Where is this? Tikkun right here. What is this?
Вот
Chatzot?
это app, right? Это app. Вот это.
What is this? Is this it?
Тикун Хацот.
Вот это.
Да, вот это.
Что там есть?
Для Хана молитва.
Вот это надо читать. Вон отсюда и все. И немножко Тора надо.
Для Хана, yeah? Для Хana. The Hana, the lady who wants to ask the God to have the kid and she's gonna sacrifice her.
Yeah.
That's Ila Wanovi, I think, yeah?
So the bottom line, if you're sleeping in the beginning of the night and you woke up, slept half an hour, let's say, you woke up, so if you're not gonna go back to sleep, you could wash with the bracha. Netilat Yadayim with the bracha. Not the morning blessings. Вы уже все спать не будете. Вы спали 8 o'clock p.m., half an hour on the bed, woke up, now you're not sleeping again the whole night. So you wash with the Netilat Yadayim. Why? Because the Ruach Hara. Because the fact that you slept already got the Ruach Hara. Okay. Mi shnisha'er ad achar chatzot laila. A new case. He was up till after midnight, and he learned Torah, and he did the Tikkun Chatzot, and didn't do the Birkot HaShachar. V'yashan shnat keva al mitot. Then he went back to sleep. So he was up at midnight, did the Tikkun, now he goes to sleep. Didn't do Birkot HaShachar, nothing. So when you wake up in the morning, what do you have to do? Wash your hands, Netilat Yadayim, and for sure do the Birkot HaShachar. מי שלא ישן כל הלילה ואין צריך ליטול ידיו בשחרית. אם ירצה ליטול ידיו, אבל לא יברך. Let's say a person like on Shavuot, we're going to have up very soon. He did not sleep all night. Now, does he wash his hands or no?
No.
He doesn't wash his hands. Because he didn't sleep. And we said the whole problem is when he's sleeping, that if the question is, if the sleep is considered that has to, the Ruach Hara Kwana. So therefore, he's not gonna make Netilat Yadayim.
He doesn't even have to do it in the cup, right?
He could wash his hands, but
just like
it's
face, just like he's washing his face just to wake up.
Right.
Yeah, not like precise.
Right. If he wants to, he could wash his hands, but doesn't have to.
It's not an obligation.
But for sure, no bracha. Now, Hayashan bayom afilu yashan shnat keval mitato. Let's say you're sleeping in the daytime, even a couple of hours. When you wake up, you do Netilat Yadayim without a bracha. Daytime. On Shabbat, you want to sleep, right? You go to sleep take a nap. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Take a nap, you wake up.
Just half an hour, sir.
Whatever.
No, whatever. I'm just saying.
Then you have to wash your hands
Without bracha.
without bracha.
Because it's daytime.
Now let's see. Maran Shulchan Aruch Kadosh sheyesh להסתפק. There's a doubt. אם צריך נטלה 3 פעמים, meaning do you need to do it with the cup? היינו משום שבית יוסף להסתפק בדברי הזוהר הקדוש, because with the Zohar HaKadosh, the Bet Yosef he had a doubt. If the Ruach Ra comes because the person goes to sleep, or because it's the sleep at night that's the problem. Is it sleep in general, or it's sleep at night? That's the dilemma. Нерешенный это вопрос был. Если Зоар, когда говорил, он спал ночью, это ночью, или любой раз, когда человек спит, уже это Руах Ра приходит. So, it says over here,
Что такое-то?
нечистая сила, она остается на руках у него. На вот это внутри. Говорит человек, который, не дай бог, если он это Гемара говорит, что это очень опасно на глаза и на уши и на рот, что человек должен быть опасен, чтобы его...
It's so hard. It's so
So-
hard. Right
so-
away you go like this.
Exactly.
in
So,
your eyes.
so he says, so есть объяснение, что это значит, что он говорит, что он слепой будет, что это значит, что вы видите, люди сегодня слепые, глухие люди стоят. Это.
Is this
Говорит,
spiritual?
да пшат, какое объяснение, что человек, если, говорит, будет это нечистую силу на глаза ставить, он, когда будет Тору смотреть, читать, он ничего не будет понимать. Будет, мозги не будет идти. Слушать будет, что Рабай говорит, не заходит.
That's what.
Почему? Потому что он вот эту энергию, она закрывает его. That's why it's so powerful. It's very important to do the Netilat Yadayim.
No, wash the hand. Not always Netilat Yadayim. Wash the
In the
hand.
morning,
In the morning.
With the cup.
The cup.
והרב סדר היום שהישן ביום יותר משתי נשמין טעם מיתה ושרתה עליו רוח הטומאה צריך נטילת ידיים להערות עליהם 3 פעמים קרוי להעביר ממנו כוח אותה הטומאה. So סדר היום brings down if he slept in the daytime and on the bed, right? So he says the ruach ra does go on him and he has to wash 3 times to remove it, the טומאה. ואף על פי שלא יזכיר רוח טומאה ויראו ששומעים בקיאים בלילה, עדיין משום שלא דיברו אלה דרך העולם. The reason why it's usually not this law was not really dealt with is because normal people usually don't sleep during the daytime. It's not a normal thing for people, meaning I guess back in the days, you woke up, nighttime comes, there's no more lights, so you sleep, you wake up in the morning, у них все по режиму было, у нас сегодня режима нету. У нас день не день, ночь не ночь сегодня, все у нас наоборот.
Mix.
Ночью люди не спят, сегодня утром спят, все наоборот. וכן כתב מהר"ם והגאון מווילנה בביאור הגר"א מנחת אהרון, כך כתב מהר"ם, והנה מרחו כתב בפירוש על הזוהר הקדוש. So what does Rabbi Chaim Vital say, the student of the Arizal? הנה בשולחן ערוך של בית יוסף בישן שנת היום נסתפק אם בא נטילת ידו או לאו, וכן נסתפק בניעור בלילה אם בא נטילת ידו, מלשון זה כי הכל הולך אחר השינה ולא אחר היות יום או לילה. ואף על גב דחזין אלקם ודוך זה בלילה נחתה כמה שיטין רבו מלאכים ואפילו שינתה על כל בני עלמא, אם כל זה היינו לכל בני עלמא ביחד ליבר בעווה. אבל אין החינמי אם ישן ביום שורה עליו רוח הטומאה, אך אם הווה נעור אפילו לא שרה עליו רוח הטומאה, כל עוד אשר נשמתו בו, וזה ברור למינים. כי אין טומאה שורה אלא כד הסתלה קודשה מטמאה. Basically he wants to say that any time the sleep is causing person to get this ruach ra. So therefore if he's sleeping like a normal sleep on the bed, day, night, doesn't matter, wash your hands. With the bracha, we're going to see we had many reasons why you do it at night with the bracha. Because at night, first of all, they have the reason that a person's not watching his hands at night. And that's one reason. Huh?
Who knows where is?
Right. Or number 2, because you're like a new creation, like Hashem gave you a new day, so that's another reason. Or because we're like the Kohen, we have to serve, and now we're serving Hashem, and we have to wash the hands like a Kohen would wash his hands. So for all these reasons, we have to do this Netilat Yadayim. And you should know that the Netilat Yadayim is very important if you want for the kids to have the Yirat Shamayim, the holiness. Try to always teach them the importance of washing the hands. Very important. מלשון זה מדבר שאין רוח הטומאה שורה על האדם עד שיש שינה ולילה כמו שאמר בלילה בארציה, ולפי זה אם היה נעור בלילה או ישן ביום אין צריך נטילת הפך השולחן ערוך. אוקיי, next. מי שנשאר ער כל הלילה מברך את ברכות השחר. If you're up all night, you make the ברכות השחר. Everything. Even though you're not some of the things in the Birkot HaShachar, I'm not obligated for it. For example,
Until Gainam.
huh?
I think we said until Gainam, and the rest we say in the morning.
What do you mean, Ginam?
The Birkat HaShachar.
Yeah.
Before the Al Divrei Torah, we say the Gainam because if we don't learn Torah, right?
Yeah.
So we started learning as if we're gonna, do in the morning time. Then after the Al Divrei Torah.
Oh, right.
That's
So you're saying it till, if you're up all night, Nashavot. You say it, the Birkot HaShachar, all of the Birkot HaShachar, till the Torah, the blessing of the Torah. Now, why I'm supposed to do it if I don't hear the rooster? Why I have to do it? Right? And there are other things there that I don't need to do. For example, if let's say I'm not obligated to, I have my clothes on. Let's say I already had my clothes on, so it's usually you have to do it for the actual thing that you're doing. So he says the reason why we're doing it is because it's the way of the world that these things are there. That's why you have to say all the blessings.
Before?
Before, right? Before.
But is it
Meaning, after midnight, you could already say the blessings of. If you're not gonna sleep all night, you could technically stay all
that day, that night?
that night.
What about
right?
every night?
If you're up all night, then yeah.
Is it technically if you learn a certain amount of time?
No, it's not about learning. Midnight comes, you could already make all those blessings.
Yeah, you could, right?
Right, except the blessing of the Torah,
Yeah,
if you
the
didn't
Torah
sleep.
is already at night. Yeah.
Because the Torah, the blessing of the Torah is effective from one day to the next day, and the beginning of the next day in the morning already. Alot HaShachar. From there, we're already making the bracha for the Birkot HaTorah. That's what we're going to do on Shavuot. הנה כתב הרמב"ם, נהגו העם ברוב עירנו לברך ברכות אלו זו אחר זו בבית הכנסת, בין נתחייבו בהם, בין שלא נתחייבו בהם. So the Rambam brings the custom that people used to make Birkot HaShachar, and they would say one after the other. One guy says it, like Ashkenaz did. One guy says it, and then another guy says it and answers Amen. Whether they're obligated for those blessings or not. Why? וטעותו ואין ראוי לעשות כן לברכם אחר שעבר זמנם, אלא כל ברכה יברך בזמנה. But the Rambam goes like the Gemara. He says that all the blessings that you make is only if you're obligated for them. If you're not obligated, if you didn't hear the rooster, you don't make a bracha, according to the Rambam. He learns it from the Gemara. אבל הכל בו כתב, אמנם פשט המנהג, the minhag from all the countries. לאומרם על הסדר. We do everything according to the seder. Why? Because we're not saying it for ourselves, this bracha. We're saying it on the way of the world. That even a blind person says this bracha pokeach ivrim. Right? Why? But he's blind. The people in the world, most people, they could see, yes, right? So because it's the way of the world, you're saying all the blessings to thank Hashem that this is the way you made the world.
The way you made the world.
Right.
And the blind person could benefit from this if he's with the right people.
Right. והרמב"ם בחידושה כתב נהגו לסדר סדר ברכות של שחר בבית הכנסת ואף על פי שישמע כל התרנגולות בחצי הלילה מברך עליו בשחר. So the Rambam says you do it in the morning, you say the blessings in the morning, even though let's say you heard the rooster at midnight, so he's making the blessing in the morning, but don't we say the blessing has to be after you hear it, then you have to say it? No. Same way the Rambam says, because it's the way of the world. That's why we're making the blessings. Even if you didn't hear the rooster, and this is our minhag. So we go like the minhag. And most of the authorities say, Shal minhago shel olam nitaknu. We all go according to the minhag of the world. V'gam im lo nitchayev b'hem mevarech otam. Even if you're not chayav, you have to say them. And what does the Rabbeinu Arizal says? Rabbeinu Arizal says that all the 18 blessings from Noten L'Sechvi Binah till Birkat HaTorah, Kulam Chayav Adam, a person is obligated to make them in that order every day, even though he might not be obligated on certain blessings. Except for Netilat Yadayim and Asher Yatzar, right? For Asher Yatzar, if you didn't go to the bathroom or you didn't sleep at night, you don't say Al Netilat Yadayim, and you don't say Asher Yatzar if you didn't go to the bathroom. Why? Because the Arizal says, because all of these blessings, Hem Remazim Niflaim El Orot Elyonim, are all hints to great spiritual lights that come down into the world when we say those blessings. So even though I'm not obligated, but you saying them. Why? Because they're all making spiritual connections for the lights to come down and make the tikkunim. We don't understand how this works, but just do it. Even a person didn't sleep at night, or im lo hesirim mitzanato or begadav, or he doesn't have all his garments, or he doesn't have the special hat that we wear for Oter Israel Bigvura, right? Or shoes, he's not wearing leather shoes. Okay, you have to make it every day. Why? Because we go according to the way of the world. And that's what he brings Priyat Chaim. Okay, so what's the correct time? That's the next question. What's the correct time for Birkot HaShachar?
Oh, net?
When's the right time?
Before nets.
Kshekam Mishinato, when you got up from your
Birkat
sleep.
HaShachar, it's a
After
time.
midnight. Birkot HaShachar.
Well,
Modani,
the-
Elokai Neshama. After midnight. ואם נשאר ער כל הלילה, לפי הפוסקים יברכם בעלות השחר. But if you up all night, meaning when's the time that it's really starting? Midnight. But there's those poskim that say that if you up all night, do it in alot hashachar, closer to the morning. But according to the Mikubalim, you have to make it after midnight. Except Birkat HaTorah. V'im olech lishon achar chatzot. But let's say he's gonna learn now, but he's gonna go back to sleep. The guy knows if he's gonna learn now, he's gonna say Birkot HaTorah, Birkot HaShachar, but he's gonna go back to sleep. Don't make the blessings at midnight. Why? Because if you might accidentally wake up and forget that you said the blessings, and now you're gonna make bracha levatala.
You know when the alarm comes in handy? Then.
Alarm, not alarm. The problem is, we're people. We're not. Well, you're saying you're gonna remind yourself that I said it?
Exactly.
Who's like you? How many
Nobody.
people are gonna be like?
Everybody's no.
The
I feel like if you are dedicated
right.
and if you did it not for the sake of doing, to say Levat Allah, of course you're gonna be like, oh,
Exactly.
just it's
Baruch Adonai L'olam.